Matam.
Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. Today, we're going to discuss the Prime Minister, our global leader, Narendra Bhai Modi in United Nations General Assembly and how the attack on terrorists and also just suggested just for the reforms at United Nations. This is topic. So just I introduce here first Vijay Mehta ji is our convener of the Foreign Affairs Department of BJP and looking after the Europe and affairs. And we have Alok Laharji from the Spain, senior journalist from Spain and was on just a talk on the European affairs. Anita Chaudhary ji from India, he is a senior journalist looking after the Ministry of External Affairs. Vandana Jhingan ji, senior journalist from Chicago, USA, very active on the Indo-US relation front. And later on, Rakesh Tiwari, the senior journalist from the Canada, later will join. You already joined for some time. Later, when you start, they'll join. So we'll discuss today on the PM speech. First, we'll just listen to the PM speech and UN, and then we'll discuss and start with the Vijay Mehta.
Well, I think we all have heard the speech by Mr. Modi in General Assembly.
That's some of the footage in between we'll replace. Okay, so nice. Okay, no problem. So Vijay ji, you will start on the just commentary from your start. Okay, no issue.
What the PM has mainly emphasized is first how India has progressed in different areas. He gave the data saying that the grown in all the dimensions, and then he came on the COVID vaccine, and then he came on the Afghanistan and terrorism in Pakistan and China's initiative to dominate the Indo-Pacific Ocean, which is and he tried to put the India point of view before the world, and he has been very successful in that. I think Pakistan, that if you feel that you can continue with terrorism activities and you are going to shelter Afghanistan, then somewhere you are mistaken. He did not take any names. And similarly, he said that ocean is everybody's right. And any country idea to dominate the ocean is not in good taste. He particularly invited the international pharma companies to come and start manufacturing in India the COVID vaccine. And I think there is a very big objective behind it, because Prime Minister would like the capital of investment to be shifted to India in terms of pharmaceuticals, because the cost of production in India is far lower. So these are the major areas which he touched. And I think he was very successful in all of them.
Okay. So now he just introduced the subject and the attack on the China. He did not take the name of China and Pakistan, but how just the attack on just Pakistan as well as the China on the maritime issue and the terrorism and just how the one countries and some countries are using the Afghanistan as political tool. So just he already focused on that. So I think Vandana ji from Chicago, America, and just already keeping an eye in each and every movement of Prime Minister, already active also on the social and the journalistic front as well. So Vandana ji, how do you analyze the whole speech of a Prime Minister, Narendra Modi? Unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, sorry about that. I apologize. Good morning to everybody. I am very delighted. And as we were talking when we were offline, the stature of a person of a Pravasi, the person of a diaspora, it goes way too high when your leader comes from your Janambhumi and talks about with a great pride. And he has delivered it. First of all, he said democracy can deliver, and democracy has delivered. This was a very strong message. And I am addressing you from the nation, which is the mother of all the democracies. I mean, like, just imagine on that very parameter. And in today's time, I think world is very, very smart. This is called an artificial intelligence. You don't have to name it. You don't have to write it. Your smartphone understands what Vandana wants to type. So
Wow,
he has
great.
already done that. He has proven it. Let's put it this way, without naming this triangle of T for Taliban, Afghanistan, C for China, and P for Pakistan. The whole world knows whom he was naming, which is a very smart. And why do we name them? By giving a name, also we are giving them a publicity. There is no need in today's time. Everybody knows, the whole world is aware of it. And it has been, I always say that in a 9 months time, a mother delivers a baby. In the 9 months time, President Biden hasn't called even Imran Khan. So that itself is an answer, and they are begging for it. You heard the speech, and yesterday the first secretary in the United Nations,
Yeah,
Miss Dubey,
yeah.
she gave a
Isna
befitting
Dubey.
reply. I mean, like,
To the Pakistan.
yes. So
Our how just I just only adding. So I'm so thrilled to add, Vandana ji. How our youth is powerful in India. So first secretary in PMI, Sneha Due, just attack on the Imran speech, but not our prime minister. Please carry on.
So when we're talking about it, because see, बच्चों को जो काम करना चाहिए बड़ों के लिए विजडम होती है, so उससे पहले ही करवा दिया गया था. Let it put it this way.
Yeah,
So they
sure,
got
sure,
the
right.
message a day earlier, and it is
Yeah.
very hard for them to absorb. We've been talking to a lot of people of that origin. How do they feel when they move out? It is very, and I am so honored and grateful. Like, we accept it that we come from that part of which has been seen. Coming back to when he said about the role of India, everybody has seen it in the first phase of pandemic and the second phase. Now India will be delivering it again, which has been a responsibility given to India because they have proven it. Because J&J's, the Johnson and Johnsons will be coming, and means some manufacturing happening and the distribution part of it. Then comes when we talked about the role, like, Seva. He mentioned about Seva. We have seen it, Seva, how the people, like, and I'm just going to say that he in person has appreciated not once, many times during his minimum hours of stay in United States. This is very good, actually. You don't have to stay here for long. You know that President Biden said, oh, for India, and because when the bilateral meeting happened, he said, oh, 90 minutes is not enough. The meeting was scheduled for an hour. They say, oh, yeah, we should have a 2-day summit, Indo-US summit. Okay. But is it possible for person? So a nation of the second largest population in the world has now responsibility, and they have to prove it, because it has to go beyond the Quad, means leading the Quad, to be honest. So not only for the 4 nations, but for the globe. Thank you very much. I'll have others to speak.
So nice of you. So India grows, world grows. India reforms, world transforms. That is a speech. I just to discuss on the India is mother of democracy. Our 75 students are making satellites to launch, and world will see how our youth in school students are powerful. Just message to the world, and just see how the when vaccination done the vaccination, and first time just how the salute to the all we can say the corona martyrs also. So Anita ji, this language how they speak the Prime Minister Modi in UNGA, I've covered 2 times. This time I could not go to so many regions. So how just you just analyze the speech and all how the attacks on the Pakistan, on China, and also UN reforms.
Uh, this is not the first time when Modi's speech has surprised the world. Last year also we were covering. You are also, I think,
Yeah,
was there,
yeah,
and the kind of speech he has delivered on that time also, and after that the Pakistan speech has delivered, and after that the Indian envoy, I think on that time also that lady, I'm just forgetting the name of that lady, she has countered
yeah,
Pakistan, that is the term term Pakistan has used as we will see, and the world has to bear this and that. And the Pakistan was on that time also on back foot, and this time also Pakistan is a country. I have told you in your previous show also, Rakesh ji, that when the product is outdated in the market, people don't take their name because we don't want to give them publicity. So Modi has
Okay.
done that only. Modi belongs to Gujarat. Gujarat is a state who believes totally in business and marketing, and he has done a wonderful job to how to represent India and how to put India on world forum, that what kind of product India is. And in coming days, because the geopolitics is totally changing, Afghanistan is a symbol of that, and we are seeing that what kind of uh, what kind of treatment China is also getting from the whole world. Pakistan is nowhere in the scene. America and the other European countries, they have also some kind of conflict on on sub issues, including Afghanistan. So the whole thing is the scenario is changing. But India is that country that his policies and agendas and the kind of belief is as it is as it was previous. India is a peaceful country. It believes in the peace. We never promoted any kind of terrorism at any stage. And after, especially after Modi government, you will see that at every platform, Modi has requested to the world that please come with a concrete definition of terrorism and don't divide it as a good
Good and bad.
terrorism or bad terrorism. And this is not the first time, but this is not the first time also when Pakistan का नाम लिए बिना मोदी ने उनकी कैसी धुलाई कर दी. This is not the first time that Modi has given a clear message to Pakistan that what kind of stuff you are, please improve. Otherwise, you will be vanished from the market. You are gradually you are going on a stage that people are rejecting you. So please, the kind of policies, the kind of product you are producing, world is totally refusing that. World don't want these kind of products. And we you can see that how what kind of speech Imran Khan has delivered. He has never put that how Pakistan is developing.
But
What is the
Janita ji, we are not going to discuss
what is the
Imran Khan. No need to discuss the Imran Khan. The
yeah,
world has, yeah,
my Pradhan Mantri has also not has taken name of
yeah.
that
Actually,
country and person, so we should also not. But
okay, okay.
I just want to tell that ki, what is the situation of Pakistan? Pakistan has not given delivered any kind of what is their upcoming policies, how their country
Yeah.
will grow.
But
Pakistan was
my request,
ba-
we should not compare ourselves to Pakistan. This is the politics of the world power. As I think,
yes.
they're trying to
And
get
in this,
further ahead.
I'm certainly saying you, I
Please,
have told you so many times in your many shows that
yeah,
geopolitics is changing, and
yeah,
in coming days it will be on India centric. It will be on India centric politics is
yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah,
So
yeah.
please, you will see that the kind of message Modi has given, you will see in coming days the gradually maybe many countries will deny the strength of India, but the geopolitics will surround around the India. That
Yeah,
is, I am
sure,
saying.
sure.
And please,
Okay. Oh, thank you. So nice. Alok ji, I think either you love me, either you hate me, but you can't ignore me. So that is a position of India. Whatever the G7, whatever the I think G20, either G77, wherever just all the big groups, pan world, everywhere India is now there. Either the G7 groups that were earlier G8, now G20, India is there. G77, India is there. So India is everywhere. Now today proved our Prime Minister Modi how India is will be how the mother of democracy, and also in the form of, as I already say, Hinduism the mother of all religions. So now today Modi said India is the mother of democracy. So you can see the all the simile. So how just you see? I just I'll take from you, and then Rakesh Tiwari ji just already joined from Canada. So how does you see the UN reforms? We have all discussed many times the need of reforms in the United Nations, as Modi ji is quoting with the Rabindranath Tagore. And actually that was his speech was in Hindi, so I'll quote the language. कि अपने शुभ कर्म पथ पर निर्भीक होकर आगे सभी कुटिलताएं शंकाएं समाप्त होगी, आप आगे बढ़ते रहें. जो बंगाली में पढ़ा उन्होंने और हिंदी में. So that is also just to promote the Hindi language. Our Rakesh Tiwari is so happy now today. Alok ji.
Okay, Kumar Rakesh, good evening and good evening to our fellow panelists. I'll continue in the same line. Like there are certain things which I like to underline in this, and this is not the first time that our Prime Minister is speaking in UN, and he almost always over delivers.
This is fourth time Prime Minister spoke at the
Exactly.
United Nations, to the 14, 15, 19, and this is 2021. Yeah.
So every time when he speaks, he over delivers. And in fact, I was seeing a picture which is very popular on the social media today. There is 3 American presidents and only 1 Prime Minister, which is Prime Minister Modi. So he is probably one of the oldest ruling, head of the state. So which also gives him a lot of experience, and obviously, nobody ever doubts his political wisdom, internationally speaking. So I think the speech which he has given, it's very relevant for the world. It is also relevant for India. And when he talks about India being the mother of all democracies, it is very clear he's talked about Rabindranath Tagore ji, or he's talked about Chanakya. And the concept of democracy does not come to India. We talk about the modern democracy, then yes, it comes to India from United States or UK or whatever you want to call it. But the concept of democracy has always existed in India. And if we talk about Arthashastra of Chanakya, it is very much talked about that in Janpadas and all that which we had in India. It is already existing. So that is, he hasn't said anything wrong about that. What is very interesting is, like we have been talking about, he's not mentioned the neighbors. So I would not like to mention the neighbors, but you don't have to mention anybody. It is very clear what this, after what happened in Afghanistan, everybody knows what is happening in the world, so you don't need to. And in case the Prime Minister of the neighboring country, he makes, and they always have the same rhetoric, they talk about a particular state which is part of India, and they'll always try to hyper the same thing, and we are the victims of terrorism and all that. But what is the finest and the most diplomatic, and we have to understand this, we are telling them we cannot compare. I mean, you cannot compare pears with oranges. So we cannot compare ourselves with our immediate neighbors, especially the troublemaking neighbors. So when the first secretary of the country replies back to the Prime Minister of a nation, it is putting that nation into its place. If you understand symbolically, it means that our Prime Minister is not going to answer to all these, irrelevant things, falsehoods, which you are coming up with. You are not talking about human rights in your own country, and then you're talking about it. That is number one. What I like about this is that he's driving his point home that India can be the next manufacturing hub, which obviously means where he's pointing at, he's told that we can manufacture drugs from all over, and not only drugs, we can manufacture arms.
Also
India can be the next delivery hub for the world. It can be the manufacturing hub for the world, which obviously we know where the pointer is going. Not only this, he also pointed out that the R&D of our nation, we are already working on a DNA-based vaccine. He's mentioned that. He's also said that we are going to also give a cure. Our scientists are already working on a nasal vaccine, not a vaccine, a cure for COVID. So which is very important. Not only this, he's talk about all the what the earth is suffering, the humankind is suffering, which is, he's talked about the climate change. He's talked about how COVID is important and how we should be helping each other. And the most important thing for me, which Tiwari ji would have loved, and he said was that a complete change in United Nations is required
Yeah.
in case it has to get some relevance. Obviously, we all know, we have been discussing this, that UN, unless it reinvents itself, or it does not play as a tool in the hands of the powerful of certain lobbies, then you'll not be relevant. So in case it has to be relevant, it has to take into consideration other countries, which could be India, which could be Germany, which could be Brazil, or it could be even South Africa. We have to be inclusive in case you want to take the leaders wrong, because these are the leaders which are going to lead the developing world. Vaccination is one thing, climate change is one thing. So you think of whatever are the current problems, and terrorism could also be one of the things. And we have very categorically said that Afghanistan needs help. We are all there to help them, but they have to ensure that their lands are not used by their neighbors for their personal benefits, or making it into a fifth or a sixth province, so that terrorism is exported from there. And this terrorism, this nuisance value of our neighbor, it is used to encash money from Europeans or the Americans. Now, this message has been very clearly delivered to the world. And I think our Prime Minister has done a fantastic job in UN. And as I started off saying this, whenever he speaks, he over-delivers. He over-delivers in everything. So his standards, which he's made, this is the fourth time he's doing it, he's even made the standards higher. With that, I'll leave it to Mr. Tiwari to continue. Thank you.
Yeah, so Rakesh Tiwari, I think you're some the way. I think so. You come out the car and just you are in Canada and just commenting on the Indian Prime Minister. As you say, you don't like the word India, then like Bharat. So just you should be happy. So our Prime Minister is speaking Hindi first. Already quote Rabindranath Tagore, and already you're the pet subject reforms in United Nations. How just you now analyze today, and you should be happy with all inputs.
And he said Bharat many times.
Yeah, no, actually always, he never said India. He never said. So, Tiwari ji. Tiwari ji, unmute yourself, please.
Yeah.
Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this. As you guys are happy, so am I. And I'm so glad Alok Ladji has picked it up very well. Definitely, so
if you're not driving, you stop for the 2 minutes and then come in the full frame, please.
I will come in the full frame. Just bear with me. I don't want to, be in between. But let me say this. Very clearly that today Prime Minister Modi ji has, as we were speaking earlier, he has delivered it as a statesman, as a world leader. He did not bother at all mentioning Pakistan's name at all, while we are discussing
not even China
not even China also. So he has talked about humanity, he has talked about terrorism, and very smartly, even at the time, he has given a very clear warning to Taliban as well, that we are ready to help you as long you do not bring the terrorism to be flourish at your lane. He said that if you want it, and that's a very strong message, and I think the whole world is watching that if unless until this is a very clear choice for them. So I'm very sure they have heard it very well. Another thing, as you mentioned, the Bharat word, I'm so pleased with that. Also, if as Alok ji has pointed out, he has brought to the United Nations, and this should be discussed over and over, that until and unless United Nations become itself
irrelevant.
accumulative of all other forces, because it's not United Nations, especially the United the Security Council. It doesn't reflect today's world. So, Prime Minister Modi has, in his very brief, I'll say, Gagar mein Sagar, that's what he did. So he has clearly shown the leadership of Bharat, and I'm so pleased and happy that at this junction in time of the world, God has blessed us with the leader like Modi ji, who is giving clear-cut direction, who's taking it more forward. We need to strengthen his hand all the way. We need to do that. One last thing I would like to add in this, that we also should stop, always talking about Imran Khan or Taliban
You're
in
right.
that way, because
You're
they are
right.
they are
See,
irrelevant. Even Pakistan and Afghanistan even has said it. If you remember, just a day before, that he's a puppet. Imran is a puppet. He has no say. He could not even speak in his own language, where it is very clear. This is the first nationalist leader. I will not count any another leader other than two more who are at the number 2 and 3, Lal Bahadur Shastri ji and Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji. Other than that, I will say Modi ji. One last thing I would like to add.
please.
When I was watching his speech, and one of my friend who was with me, and the moment Prime Minister Modi has mentioned, he said that the United Nations
I,
has is at the what I'm saying, being collapsed. Sorry, it has to reorganize itself, otherwise it's going to be irrelevant. Irrelevant.
yeah.
So the guy said he has scored the point. So that a common person who's not a politician, who's not that this, so
He is not a
everywhere,
scorer. Always for the sixer. Other than
yes,
no
so he
six
has
in the cricket, another wall. Okay, always goal
he has scored.
as a bull the target. He is a leader. So now,
Yes,
sir, of the Vijay Mehta ji. Vijay Mehta ji, just as a diplomat and as just a thinker and all the associated with the BJP overseas cell. So just you think, Kalati Karma. How the Modi said on the just comment on United Nation reforms कि सही समय पे सही कार्य नहीं किया जाता है तो irrelevant हो जाता है. Then he uses the Nobel Prize winner Rabindranath Tagore. शुभ कर्म के पाथ पर निश्चिंत से चलना चाहिए, कहीं दिक्कत नहीं होती है. तो whatever it says. Now this is, you can say the importance of Hindi now. So we are discussing in the English program. We have to quote Modi ji with the Hindi quotes. This is the power of Hindi. So,
yes,
Vijay bhai, yeah. One question. United reforms, another. Ekat Manavtavad, integral humanism. He also translated in English. This is a lesson, and today is the birthday of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay, who was the founder of the Jansangh and the reformer of the theory of the person to be served, last man person to be served, that is called Antyodaya, who given the world. So on the two issue, how did you come in? What you say? Unmute yourself, please.
You
Just moment. Okay. Oh yeah. Now
right?
okay.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me
Right.
now?
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay. What I'm saying is that most of the learned speakers before me, they have diagnosed the speech of Modi ji very well, whatever each and every word he has spoken. Since the time is going to be short and you have too many speakers, I would like to emphasize on 3 points
Please.
during Modi ji's visit to USA, which have not been mentioned so far. Number one is the economic side of Modi's visit. Now, if we really look at it, what has been the biggest problem in the world for the last 2 years? It has been the spread out of COVID. Now, this problem, Modi ji has emerged as the world leader because a large population like India, 80% have already been given the first dose. And we are moving at a speed which is unimaginable. In one day, we have vaccinated more than 2 crore people, which is almost the population of half of Europe. In this respect, Modi ji has invited the world leaders to come and manufacture in India. So what is his plan is to present India as the pharmaceutical capital of the world. Earlier, we have been the software provider to the world, and now there are a number of industries in which India is taking lead, like textiles. So
Yeah.
Modi ji's objective is that whatever industry is leaving China, they should come to India. And that is how he has had a full meeting with five CEOs of the world who are very, very big companies. So the first objective, which I'm talking about economics point of view, that has been very well met during this short visit. The second point is to establish the nexus between our China and Pakistan and their help to Afghanistan. Now, Modi ji, in an indirect manner, have very clearly given them a warning and also told them and also told the whole world that the terrorism which is being shielded in their backyards, that is going to harm the total world. And what is now happening is that though it was started all by the initiative of America, China is getting sidelined because of their expansionist uh, policies and also because of their support to Pakistan and Afghanistan. So the big problem of India is to, number one, make it a very large country in terms of manufacturing and bring the international capital to India. Number two, to stop the terrorism. And number three is his equation with the President Biden. We have all seen this was the first meeting of Prime Minister, first physical meeting of the
Yeah.
Prime Minister with Mr. Biden. And the kind of remarks which has been used by Mr. Biden very clearly establish their willingness to have a very, very strong ties with India. Mr. Modi, he repeatedly told him about his last visit to India when he was the vice president of USA, his strong links with India, how he would have a very strategic tie-up in the areas of trade and technology, and how they will support the Indian policies towards terrorism. Now, this is very important because the purpose of the visit was to establish a very strong relationship with the new president and its regime in the USA. And Mr. Modi has been very successful in doing that. His equation with the Mr. Biden and Mr. Biden's body language, it very clearly shows that Mr. Modi is almost having the same kind of equation which he earlier had with President Trump. So
Trump and
now
Obama
America
also.
has
Obama also. Yeah.
Obama also, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the third president, and this is going to help India a lot in terms of becoming further progress, doing further progress, and becoming a biggest power in this part of the world. In the last, I would say that Mr. Modi has been able to re-establish himself as a world leader. He has
Yeah.
said that we will be distributing to the developing countries our vaccine, and he has taken so many measures. And today, the world, except Mr. Modi as its leader, as it's one of the leaders, and they are very confident that India is emerging as another superpower of the world. Thank you.
Okay. So thank you, Vijay Mehta ji. Just elaborated also just inputs from the US visit, how just he met Mr. Biden and Ms. Kamala Harris and all quiet meetings. It also highlights on the some points the Indo-US visits to sum up the US visit of Prime Minister Modi. So, Vandana ji, as well as the inputs from that, Vijay Mehta ji is giving the inputs for the successful talks with the President Biden and the Vice President Kamala Harris and the quiet meeting and with the premiers of Japan and Australia. I have just viewed on the Twitter the Australian premier person. So very nice tweet he already tweeted. So now nowadays the Twitter platform is so easy and so communicative now. So, but we're not going to discuss the Twitter or whatever problem is there. Not, but how just you analyze the point out just ekat manavtavad. I just try to understand from you the integral humanism and the world and the United Nations. As 2020, the United Nations adopted International Yoga Day.
I come to your home, but I tell you, this is not right in your home. Needs to have guts. And that's what he has proved. We have talked about is the reforms, because everybody over a period of time needs to have some changes. And we have seen these world bodies failed when it was a time of pandemic. Let it be WHO, let it be United Nations. And so we have to show them, no, this is not right. But did we do with the ego? No. We did it with the self-respect and self-dignity. No, because you improve and we are going to be there. That's why we are ready to even help. Like Afghanistan, we just mentioned. What is happening is wrong. This should not be as a tool for a terrorism for the other nations. Number two, but the people, those who are in need, let this be minorities, let this be women and kids, we are ready to help them and world should come to help them. Maritime resources should be used, not abused. So the message has been very loud and clear. And we have talked about the role now because India's leading the Quad thing, because this is their first meet. Because no matter how much do we interact, even 6 of us interacting on this StreamYard, but when we 6 are there in person, we will be seen totally in a different manner. You will see, because that is what is the need time. From 2020, he never came because everybody knows that. 2021, he came in after a gap of 2 years. And the diaspora, like whenever he comes, gets engaged. You know that, because it is like, they feel. And even then, he did come out of the hotel, try to wave people and shake, because people have been there. Let it be rain at the when he landed at the Andrews at the Washington DC Andrews base, and the messages actually has been very why we liked it. Let me be very honest with you. And you said that somebody is from diplomat or I don't know, Vijayji. A message ahead of a country which has
Vijay is the National Executive Member, convener of the Foreign Affairs Cell of BJP, as well as diplomat and the ambassador from Romania and in India.
Okay,
please.
So
1 minute, Rakesh. Can I take a leave? I have another TV interview starting in a little time.
Okay, just
if you just listen this comment and then you can leave. This message,
maximum 5 minutes. Only.
This message
we are going to wind up.
This message of a prime minister, head of a country, walking out from the airplane without any right, left, 10 people, 20 people carrying his own umbrella. That message itself is very bold and loud. Let me be, and we the people, those who are living in this country for more than 30 years now, because everything यहाँ से होता है अपना स्वाभिमान. वो बोलते हैं ना अपना काम करने means अपना छाता अपने हाथ, you don't need to have अपना bag, because so that has to flow down in the Indian bureaucracy and all these people working for the government. So when we'll be seeing Swabhimani Bharat. And because the new generation is coming in India. Right. That is what is very, very important. So, और एक वो बोलते हैं सबका साथ, सबका विकास है और सबका विश्वास, सबका प्रयास. एक जो उन्होंने नहीं कहा, अब वो कर दिया, Sabka Samman. He did
Very
that
good.
in today's
Yeah.
time. Thank
So,
you.
आलोक जी, सबका सम्मान, आलोक जी, सबका सम्मान और दुश्मनों का भी सम्मान, कि दुश्मन भी समझ जाओ, just how he just he did not threaten to any country. He said who the country who was trying to use the political tool through the route of Afghanistan, they also burned, they are on the fire. They should also
Because
understand.
terrorism can hit them tomorrow. He said
Yeah,
that indirectly.
yeah. So that is also from the source our Indian ethos and culture, not the hammering. They try to please try to understand, learn the theory. How do you comment on Alok Alokji?
Kumar
Very
Rakesh,
very brief comment. Very
very
just only
briefly,
4 minutes,
the
3 to 4 minutes, and the four panelists more. Please.
uh, Mr. Modi has never hesitated in saying it when people were trying to please the Talibanis and they were saying things, or let's say India was forced in the Security Council to give a green check to the Talibanis. He had even then said that terrorists cannot form a government and they should not be allowed to form a government. He has kept that line, so that is honesty
Yeah.
on his part, on one place. And I think he's not respected everybody in the sense that there are people who have to be shown their place, which have been done,
Yeah.
but he's not categorically criticized them, which is very good. At times it is to ignore a person is the worst thing you can do to that person, and this is what he's done, so which I think is very nice. What I
Yeah.
liked about this meeting is that, like, his visit is, and it is not just UN. He's been meeting, we know quads, we know meeting, one-to-one meeting with the
Yeah.
president in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
We know he's going to meet all the quad members one by one. Apart from that, what is very, very interesting for me is of the five CEOs he's met. Semiconductors, Qualcomm CEO Christian Amon. Education, he's
Yeah.
talked to, Shantanu,
Adobe and all that. Yeah.
from Indian origin, and then solar energy, he's talked to the CEO of First Solar, which is Mark Windmark. So, he's taking care not only of what is on diplomatic front, what is on defense front, how UN should be changed, one-to-one bilateral relationship with Biden. We all know that the meeting was extended in time, which is a very positive note, and especially keeping in mind that in the beginning everybody thought that Mr. Biden was not a very good friend of Modi ji. It was normally said that Trump is a personal friend.
Sorry, I intervene. Biden was a continuous 8 years vice president with Mr. Obama. So what is
No,
the wrong
definitely he was the
person?
vice
This is wrong
president, and
perception always created by Western media, and which part of media it has been to look into. But now we have just seen the last meeting how the warm welcome and as Vijay Bhai says, how the body language and how the exchange of views, that is also should be noted. Please.
And there's one more line which I like to add, which is
Please.
very much, Indian style, that he has traced the families of both President Biden and the Vice President in India. There was this news about Mr. Biden telling him that, there is somebody who's written to him from India saying that, my name is also Biden, and what can you do about it? So he had joked it, in a joking manner, he told, like, so there is this person in India, and we have traced. So which is very Indian, like you end up asking the other person,
Try. Yeah,
which
I do
village are you
understand.
from? Where are you coming from? So Modi ji on world stage is even done that trick of telling them that you have some relationship with India, be it the vice president or the president himself.
Okay, thank you. Anita ji, India is a mother of democracy. What does it mean in the front of UNGA?
That the whole world knows that India is a land of democracy, because the kind of variety.
Mother of democracy.
Okay, mother of democracy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because we all know India as an umbrella, there are lots of variations are in India, but India accept it as a why Modi has compared India as a mother of democracy. Because as a mother, we do, we have three, four, two, five childrens, but we always give them a similar kind of treatment. India is like that. We have varieties of communities, varieties of many of religions lives here, but we treat all of them as a we don't have any discriminated kind of constitution. And we as an Indian accept and appreciate all kind of things, and we believe that as an Indian, as a Bharatiya, we are one. This is what is the role of mother? Mother always says you are one. You are united. You are as a united family. So as a Sanatani, we believe that we are one. The whole world is Vasudeva Kutumbakam, and we are the पूरी पूरा भूभाग हमारा परिवार है, और हम उसके भी एक भाग हैं. As a countryman, Modi has always made a policies for everyone. And what one thing which I want to mention over here, Rakesh ji, that whenever Modi goes to any world forum, and the kind of speech he deliver, always it's हिंदुस्तान को एक नए आयाम पे ले जाना, भारत को एक नए आयाम पे ले जाना. This is the motto of Modi, and that's why whenever he goes, he has a passion that kind of कि my country should be like that, and where only a passionate person can do it. Only a passionate,
Okay.
only a passionate person can do the work like that. If I want to do this, I will do it at any cost. And the way he represent India, the way he mentioned all the work of India, the way he mentioned all the achievements of India, that how India is growing, and how
Yeah.
India is showing the path to the whole world, that in this way, with the motto, with the belief of humanity and manavata, when we will go together, the world will be as a Vasudeva Kutumbakam.
So nice, so nice. And already just also try to teach the integral humanism. Already I'm focused. Rakesh Tiwari ji, the last only I think 1 minute 20 seconds we have now time left. So just to brief, I think you are just 1 minute last. I'll take your last and then sum up. So yeah,
Sir, I am leaving because few of my guests
Let me
are sitting
let
over
me
here.
let
So
let me say
please,
this.
please excuse
Let me
me.
say
please, please,
let me
please.
say this to all the fellow panelists, and we are here. I mean, and we have a great leader such as Modi ji, and he has given his speech. Everybody was looking forward that what he's going to speak, what he's going to see. So, as a statesman, as a world leader, he has delivered his speech. He has given the points. He has given the signals which way world should go and which way Bharat is going. He has given direction to all of us. So when I
Thank you.
mentioned so many times that India word is not right, Bharat is great. In that way, he has brought Chanakya, he has brought Dindayal Upadhyay, Pandit Dindayal Upadhyay, he has brought
Yeah,
Rabindranath Tagore.
Rabindranath Tagore.
Everything,
Yeah,
every symbol, everything what he said over there has a
as
symbolism, has a
assets of
signature,
Bharat. Yeah, yeah.
has a roadmap for us to go in the same direction. And I'm so pleased and so happy. And as you guys have already said that too, also that what I was speaking to, seems like we are working together in that way. And Modi ji
Thank you,
has,
thank you,
given
thank you. So
the
nice of you, all of you, just who
thank you.
participate in the show, and our something. Vandana ji, something to add, please.
Yeah, first and very foremost thing, he said that I am serving the public from last 20 years. So that his experience with the people, like that is what he addressed. Thank you.
Yeah. So the already mentioned 12 years in Gujarat, longest serving chief minister of Gujarat, and last 7 years he is serving as the prime minister of the India. So many things also say about the Chaiwala. Not the biggest speech, but very precise and full of thoughts. The speech was there. So I think United Nations will take the lesson, and the world will take the lesson from the speech of a prime minister Narendra Modi, how world should move with the peace, humanity, and prosperity for the our just theory, the Vasudev Kutumbakam, and for the Ekat Manavtavad, and just for the integrated development of the world, just as really according to thoughts, ethos of the Bharatiya culture, Indian culture. So nice of you. Thank you. Thanks a lot to all panelists. And we'll meet again, and just see, subscribe, and like the Global Governance News, and just support the global movement of media for the nationalist movement. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.